Kal halal la Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Waha, Racha Kwadash. All praises and glory go to you, Lord. Double honors and respect go to our apostles, bishops, elders, and teachers, the men of Great Millstone. To you I say Shalom. Salutations to the hopeful elect. It's your brother Amraya. And today we're going to discuss a dream that I had a couple hours ago. After returning from work, I was exhausted, decided to lay down and take a nap. And the dream that I had was just kind of scary, inspiring, all of that. All right. And without further ado, what occurred was in this dream, I was riding along in my car. This is how the dream started out. And I ran across an ex-girlfriend, okay, who asked for a ride. So I give her a ride, and she wants to go to these like projects, like old school projects where, they're like 3-4 stories, hallway leading all the way through, and very ghetto, okay. We get to the destination, and she busts a move on me in the dream, okay. And this is not turning into one of those. I don't want y'all thinking that, but she busts a move on me. And after she busts her move, was very adamant that, me and her were going to be together at that point. So I tell her it's not going to happen, all right? And she gets upset. This is, after she busts her move, we were already back in the car. I was about to take her to another destination and drop her off. But after this altercation happens between me and her, she decided to hop out of the vehicle and take off walking. So I look at my gas gauge, and I was on E. Began to look for a gas station because it was already kind of getting late at night, about 9-10 o'clock, and dark outside. So I see this Valero on a hill, and I'm about to turn into the Valero, and that's when all hell broke loose. The pumps exploded. The gas station itself exploded. I'm looking at cars around me exploding, and I'm like, oh, snap, something's going down. So I try to flee the scene in the vehicle, but I'm already out of gas. And the only thing I could see was this mall. And I decided to park there and flee into the mall for safety. And when I got into the mall, all hell was breaking loose in there too. Turns out Chariots had exploded the gas station, exploded people's cars. They had angels unaliving people, all right, all around me. I'm running through the mall. I'm seeing people be attacked, vaporized. So I hide in this like shoe store back where they keep the stock, where they hold the shoes. And I'm just hiding back there, kind of like trying to be quiet so I don't get noticed myself. And there was kind of like a window you could see from the loading dock area coming into the back of the store where I was. And I could see angels coming up the loading dock. And there were also other people in the back trying to hide with me, all right, with the stock where the shoes were and the clothes and all of that. So the angels come in and start unaliving everyone hiding in the store. So I'm shitting my pants scared at this point. The angel gets to me because I'm hiding kind of like behind this wall where they have these like jumpsuits. And the angel gets to me, and they were in a group. It was a group of angels. And they look at me and just bypass me and keep going. And I was so thankful. But they carried on unaliving people throughout the store, throughout who were hiding. And then they went on about their business. When, I must have sat there in the dream, it felt like an hour, 2 hours. But when the coast seemed clear, I decided to, my clothes had gotten all torn up, running and trying to escape. So I grabbed some of the stock from the back, replaced my shoes and all of that. And then I started looking for my car in the parking lot, but the car had already been kind of like, it wasn't completely destroyed. Like I could get into it and drive it when I came upon it, but it wasn't driving very fast. The engine was knocking. It had sustained some damage. And nobody else was around at the mall at that point. Everyone had, fled to safety or whatever they did, got vaporized. So I get into my car and I start looking to try to get some gas so I can get back to my house. I pull back around where that gas station first was, and it was nothing but military officials there, taping off the whole area. I realized it was the only gas station in the area, and I had to abandon the vehicle anyway because there was no way to put gas in it. It was on E.
Welcome to another video, and as always, before I get started, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai Bahasham Rachodash. And next, double honors to the head apostles / elder bishops of the great millstone who teach and who rule well. Peace, blessings, and safety to all you sincere Akim. Keep pushing, keep believing, and keep the faith, regardless of what the people hear and what they forbear. Alright, so this is going to be a reaction to the brother Imrayah out of San Antonio. He had a dream of the death angels and of the chariots, okay, destroying people, vaporizing people with the Wapo Zappo. And that's, of course, in the prophecies. It's in the scriptures. So, all right, the mass casualties when the chariots come, they start deleting people. All right, so let's go ahead and bring out the scriptures on that. And Yahweh Righteous, I mean the Heavenly Father's will is edifying to the elect. All right. Oh, and before I continue on with the prophecies, that was a 5-minute clip of his 18-minute video. So the rest of the video will be in the description box, and I'll put it down in the comment section as well, so you can go and you can watch the rest of it. All right, this is Ezekiel chapter 9 and verse 3. And the glory of the God of Israel was gone up from the cherub whereupon he was to the threshold of the house. And he called to the man clothed with linen, which had the writer's inkhorn by his side. And Yahweh said unto him, Go to the midst of the city, to the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the forehead of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. Okay, and that mark is the Hebrew word thawah, all right, meaning the mark of exemption. Okay, when we go into that word for mark, all right, it's a different mark than the one that's found in Revelation. All right, this is the mark of the Most High. It's a seal. It says here, outline of biblical usage, a mark as a sign of exemption from judgment. All right, there you go. So continuing on, okay, it says, once again, set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. Okay, and that's the prophets. And to the others he said in mine hearing, Go ye after him through the city, and smite. Let not your eyes spare, neither have ye pity. Slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children and women, but come not near any man upon whom is the mark, and begin at my sanctuary. Then they began at the ancient men which were before the house. And he said unto them, Defile the house, fill the courts with the slain, go ye forth. And they went forth and slew in the city. Okay, so the death angels being sent out. And in the video he said that the angels, they seen him and they passed by. Okay, because, once again, Ezekiel 9:4, set a mark upon the foreheads. The men that are sighing and crying for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof, preaching his word, all right, and complaining because of the oppressors, according to prophecy, like it says in Isaiah the 19th chapter, they're going to be safe from the destruction. Yahweh Righteous, we be part of that number. Okay, but he said they have death angels that were out there destroying people. All right, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai dispatched those death angels against ancient Egypt by way of plagues, and he's going to do the same thing in this time. This is Psalm 78 and 49. It says, He cast upon them the fierceness of his anger, wrath, and indignation, and trouble by sending evil angels among them. All right. So he did it in ancient Egypt. He's going to do it in this modern day spiritual Egypt as well. Okay. Let's get Revelation chapter 1 and verse 7. He said he saw chariots, destroying people, zapping people with the Wapo Zappo. Revelation 1 and 7. Behold, he cometh with clouds. These are the code word, prophetic code word for the vehicles of the angels. And every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him. Okay, because through the reincarnation, those same Roman centurions are here today. All right, and all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him, even so, Amen. All right, so people of the earth are going to scream, they're going to cry at the second coming of Yahweh Shai, because he ain't coming the way that they expecting. They learned about God and Jesus. They learned about Caesar Bourgeois. They don't know nothing about Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. So when he comes with that same power and force as he used against people in the Old Testament, all right, they're not expecting that, and they're going to freak out. Okay, it talks about this in Habakkuk, the 3rd chapter. All right, as you can see, God's deliverance of his people. Start from the top at verse 1. A prayer of Habakkuk the prophet unto Shigionoth. O Yahweh, I have heard thy speech and was afraid. O Yahweh, revive thy work in the midst of the years. In the midst of the years make known. In wrath remember mercy. Okay, because Habakkuk saw a vision of the second coming. He saw the death angels going out, just destroying everything. It says, the Most High, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, came from Teman, and the Holy One from Mount Paran, Selah. All right, which, we speculations that Mount Paran, all right, and Mount Sinai are chariots. Okay, because the chariots also can be called mountains. All right, so speculation that, and when he came to Moses, when it said Moses went up on Mount Sinai, saying he went to a chariot of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. It says, Selah, his glory covered the heavens, and the earth was full of his praise. The glory covering the heavens is the vehicles of the angels, okay, because they're going to come tens of thousands, all right, tens of thousands of his saints. It says, and his brightness was as the light, he had horns coming out of his hand, and there was the hiding of his power. Let's read that in NLT. Okay, talk about the concentrated heat, the lasers. It says, his coming is as brilliant as the sunrise, rays of light flash from his hands, where his awesome power is hidden. What is a ray of light? It's a beam, okay, a beam of fire, or a laser beam as you would call it. All right, and they're going to be zapping people, all right, instantly vaporizing them. Okay, a lot of people, exploding, all right, etc., etc. And this is what he saw in that dream. Okay, so that's an NLT. Let's skip down to verse 12. It says, thou didst march through the land in indignation. Thou didst thresh the heathen in anger. Thou wentest forth for the salvation of thy people, for the elect, even for salvation with thine anointed. Thou woundest the head out of the house of the wicked, by discovering the foundation into the neck, Selah. Thou didst strike through with his staves the head of his villages. They came out as a whirlwind to scatter me. Their rejoicing was to devour the poor secretly. So he's coming to destroy, all right, the head of the wicked, all right, Esau, Edom, okay, and to destroy them. Why? Because their rejoicing was to devour the poor, which is talking about Jacob, who's under the curses right now. Thou didst walk to the sea with thine horses, to the heap of great waters, and the waters represent people. Okay, the sea is a spiritual prophetic word for people. Let's get a couple precepts on that. You get Revelation 17 and 15. And he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the horse sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. All right, let's talk about Babylon being on top of all the nations of the earth. Okay, the waters represent the different people and nations. All right, another one, Psalms 144, and I think it's verse 7. All right, here it is. Set thine hand above, send thy hand from above, rid me and deliver me out of the great waters, from the hand of strange children. Okay, so he's coming to destroy. All right, he's sending his horses, which represent power, to the heap of great waters. He's coming to destroy them. Verse 16, it says, when I heard, my belly trembled, my lips quivered at the voice. Rottenness entered into my bones, and I trembled in myself, that I might rest in the day of trouble. When he cometh up unto the people, he will invade them with his troops. Okay, so that's how Yahushua is coming. He's going to invade them with his troops. Isaiah 66 and verse 14. And when ye see this, your heart shall rejoice, and your bones shall flourish like an herb. And the hand of Yahweh shall be known toward his servants, and his indignation toward his enemies. For behold, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire. For by fire and by his sword will Yahweh plead with all flesh, and the slain of Yahweh shall be many. See that? It says, they that sanctify themselves and purify themselves in the gardens behind one tree in the midst, are going into idol worship, all right, eating swine's flesh and the abomination, and the mouse shall be consumed together, saith Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. So he's going to destroy all the idol worshippers, all that listen to the false prophets, because that also goes into that. Okay, purifying themselves in the gardens behind one tree in the midst. The people are likened to trees. When you read that in the CSB here, it says, those who dedicate and purify themselves to enter groves, following their leader, eating meats from pigs, vermin and rats will perish together. This is the Lord's declaration. Okay, so he's going to punish those who listen to false prophets, going into idol worship, all right, and eat swine's flesh, meaning breaking the dietary laws, okay, etc., etc. He's going to punish them, and they're going to be destroyed in that time, which is the vast majority of people on the earth. Okay, so anyways, that's it. We'll close it out there. The slain of the Lord shall be many. All right, but once again, the rest of that video will be in the description in the comment section. Go and watch it for yourself. Subscribe and be edified. And until next time, as always, I'm gonna give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakak Wachrash. And until next time, Shalom and abide b'ball.